This right here is the Garmin Cirqa, and this is the device I've been waiting for Garmin to make for years. But it's not perfect, and it's not for everybody, but if you're in the market for a new Garmin wearable, if you're in the market for a new fitness tracker similar to a Whoop, an Aura, a Fitbit, then you should definitely consider this. Today we're talking about what I like, what I don't, the big reason why I've personally been waiting for this device, and I'm gonna share with you 5 reasons I think it might be worth picking up. Ready? Let's go. Okay, so first off, what is the Garmin Cirqa? Well, this is a brand new wearable from Garmin that is a $200 smart band. So essentially, it does a lot of the same things that a Garmin smartwatch does, but it does it without a screen. So it will track your sleep, your steps, your fitness, and it will do it all via the app. So that makes it a lot more similar to a Whoop, Aura, or a Fitbit. So when you get the box, if you've ever had a Garmin product before, there are no surprises here. It comes with the same basic gray box that doesn't have, well, any frills, and really they don't need to because Garmin is already such a recognized brand, they don't need to do anything fancy with the packaging. People already know they're going to get a high quality product. Out of the box, you're not gonna find much here either. You're gonna get the device itself, you're going to get a Garmin charging cord, as well as a little instruction book. When it comes to first impressions of the device itself, honestly, I really like it. It's basically the same nylon band that comes with the Venue X1. You can also get a band just like this for other Garmin watches aftermarket if you want to. But what it means is that when you put it on, because it's Velcro, it's extremely easy to adjust it to the exact tightness that you want. So if you like it a little bit tighter, you can very easily tighten it down as much as you want. If you like it a little bit looser, it's also very easy to do that. And then it sits right on your wrist. I will say it sits a little bit higher than I was expecting to on my wrist. I was expecting it to be a little bit smaller, a little bit more flush. Honestly, it's really not that big of a deal. It's still very comfortable. It's less bulky than most Garmin watches. So for the last 2 years, I've slept almost every single night with my Fenix 8. I'm wearing that 85% of the time. And so you put this on, and while it's not quite as svelte as I was maybe expecting it to be, it is significantly smaller and significantly lighter than the Fenix 8. In comparison, the Venue X1 that I mentioned previously, that actually feels a little bit smaller. Because that screen is so thin, I actually found that I noticed that watch a little bit less than this. So that was a little bit of a surprise, but honestly, I got no complaints here. Build quality feels really good. It's comfortable to wear. They've got a good assortment of colors, and so I really feel like they did a good job with the size and the form factor. Now, when I first started reviewing Garmin products, I always complained that I wish they were USB-C charging, but obviously if you do that, you're gonna run into issues with waterproofness. So one thing I have appreciated about Garmin is that they use the exact same charging cord for all of their watches and all of their wearables. That is no different here. If you've used a Garmin watch, it is using the same cord and the same connection on the Cirqa. When it comes to setup, just like most of Garmin's products, it could not be easier. You go into Garmin Connect, you go add new product, you make sure this thing is on, it's going to recognize it, boom, you are set up. Everything is super seamless and super easy, and if you don't have a Garmin Connect account, you will have the extra step of downloading the app as well as creating your account there. But if you already have it, adding this device to your account could not be easier. Okay, so now I want to talk about the 5 use cases, the 5 reasons I think you might want to consider buying the Cirqa, and I will weave some of my experiences into those different 5 segments. Okay, so right out of the gate, let's start with the reason I am so excited about this device. So as someone who wears Garmin watches every single day, I have one problem with that. I also like mechanical watches. I have a nice mechanical watch collection, and when I want to wear one of them, I have to forego my Garmin tracking. Yes, there are people that will wear a mechanical watch and they'll wear their Garmin watch on the other hand. I can't bring myself to be one of those people that wears 2 watches. So now, having this band, it allows me to still get all of my Garmin data, and we'll cover what data that is in just a minute. It allows me to still get all of that while wearing a mechanical watch, and for that one reason, this is absolutely worth $199 for me. Now, I will say, when it comes to a screenless Garmin wearable, I was hoping it would come in the form of a ring. Frankly, I would rather wear a ring than, even though I don't have 2 watches on, I still have 2 kind of wrist bracelets, which I know there's people that are gonna kind of laugh at me for that. I'm fine with it, by the way. But one thing the Cirqa can do that may be even better than a ring is that there is an optional bicep band. So you can get a bicep band and you can still get all of your tracking, all of your data while wearing it up on your bicep. So if you're going out to a nice dinner, you're going around town and you don't want to make it look like you're wearing 2 bracelets, or you don't want to have your fitness tracker super prominent on your wrist, you can wear it up here where it kind of hides away, still wear your watch, and you're good to go. I will say I've not purchased one of the bicep bands yet, but I will be doing that, and I will update my written review once I have been able to test that. So all that to say, if you're someone who likes to wear real watches, but you also like to have all your Garmin data, and you don't want to have holes in your data, you want to make sure you're still tracking all of your steps and all of your flights of stairs and all of that, Well, this is now the way to do it, and I couldn't be more excited about that fact. All right, the second reason you might consider getting a Cirqa is if you want some of Garmin's best health features, but you don't want to buy one of their mid to high-end smartwatches in order to do it. So let's say you have or you've been considering buying an entry-level Garmin golf watch. The S12 for $200, the S44 for $300. Neither of those have some of the more advanced health and tracking features that many other Garmin watches do. With the Cirqa, you can get full advanced sleep tracking, you can get a body battery score, you can get a VO2 max score, you can get a training readiness score, you can get a training status alert, you get workout benefit data, recovery time data, you get all of these things that you don't start to get until you get into some of the more mid-range to higher-end Garmin golf watches. And you're getting it for only $200, which is about half the price for the typical watch that starts out with some of those features. So if you've wanted to be in the Garmin ecosystem for a while, you've wanted all these features, you trust the brand, you like what they're offering, but maybe it's just been a little bit too expensive to get a watch that has some of those features, well, for $200, I mean, that's a pretty good deal. So the fact they've included some of these advanced features kind of surprised me, but I was also extremely happy to see it. Especially considering that means I'm not having to make that many sacrifices when I'm not wearing my Fenix 8 and I'm wearing this instead. A couple things I will note about some of those advanced features is this does have an older heart rate sensor, so this isn't their most up-to-date Generation 5 heart rate sensor that is on the Fenix 8. I believe this is the Generation 4 sensor, which is not a huge surprise. At $200, you can't expect it to have all the best hardware. And I will also say is that while this does have all of those advanced features, I will say it is a little bit more cumbersome using many of them on your phone rather than just being able to use them on the watch. I do like the fact there is a button here that you can program to start a specific activity whenever you want. So if you know most of your activities are going to be golf, when you're out on the course, you can hit the button and it will start a round of golf. Just keep in mind that when you do that, since it doesn't have a screen, since it doesn't have all those advanced golf features, it's basically just starting it as a cardio timed activity. So in that case, you won't get some of the more advanced data that you would get with a dedicated golf watch. I do like the fact, however, that it also has automatic activity tracking. So let's say I go out for a hike and I forget to start that activity on my phone. The Cirqa is smart enough to recognize, oh, you've got an elevated heart rate, you've been walking for a while, you are probably doing an activity. It will then track that. Then when I'm done with that activity, I can review it, make sure everything's accurate, and I can add it to my Garmin Connect account. So personally, I love the fact it has all these advanced features. There's over 80 different activities that it can track, but since I am so used to using one of Garmin's watches, to have to go in and interact with the app even more to start and finish all those activities, it's not necessarily my favorite, but also it just gives you a very similar experience to what you would be doing with Whoop, Aura, or Fitbit, and it's just a little bit of a different way of tracking your fitness. And frankly, a lot of the people that are in the market for a device like this, that's what they expect, because they don't want to watch. That's part of the appeal here. So while I personally prefer doing this on a watch, you can still do it on the app. It works pretty well. It just takes a little bit longer than I'm used to. All right, and that directly leads into the third reason you should consider getting this is if you want health data, but you don't want a watch. A lot of people don't want to spend all day looking at a smartwatch. So the fact that you can get all of your data, it will track everything, and then you can go back and review it all later after the fact, that's what a lot of people are going to want, and this thing does a great job of doing that. If you're a golfer, it's kind of a similar thing. Like, as someone who reviews golf tech products for a living, sometimes I just want to go out and enjoy being on the course. I don't want to be inundated with tech. But as I've made clear, I still want to get all of that Garmin data. I wanted to know that I walked 6 miles and burnt 1,000 calories on the golf course. This allows me to still get all of that data without having to be distracted by technology. And honestly, I've played one round with just this, and I really did enjoy it. Sure, I missed having my GPS yardages directly on my watch, but honestly, just to go out and play and not think about anything else, it's kind of a rare luxury these days, and I enjoyed it more than I expected to. Hey, sorry to interrupt. I don't do this very often right in the middle of a video, but have you enjoyed your content here? Has this been valuable? It would mean the world to me if you would go and hit the subscribe button right now. We have new videos twice a week all about the coolest golf courses and the coolest golf products out there. So regardless of whether or not you're into travel, apparel, tech, clothes, equipment, we've got a little bit of everything, and subscribing is the easiest thing you can do to help support this channel. So I'll wait. 3, 2, 1. Thank you. I appreciate you. Back to the video. All right, the fourth reason you should consider this is if you are already in the Garmin ecosystem. So let's say you do have a Garmin golf watch. You're using the Garmin apps. You're already getting some of your data tracked, but you only want to use your golf watch for golf. This could be the supplement that allows you to continue getting all of that data, all of that sleep data, and giving you a more holistic picture of your health without having to go around wearing a golf watch 24/7. One of the features I love about this most is just how seamless it is to switch from tracking one device to the next. So let's say I've been wearing wearing my Fenix 8 all day, I'm going out to a nice dinner, I want to put on a real watch, I literally just take off the Fenix 8, I put on the Cirqa, and the app will automatically track that switch and carry on collecting data on the new device. But one of the coolest things about it is it also works both ways. So let's say I wear this earlier in the day, I go back, I put my Fenix 8 on, say I walked 4,000 steps with my Cirqa, all of those steps will still show up on my watch, not just within the apps. So the fact that it syncs all that data and it goes both directions is really cool, and it wasn't something I expected Garmin to be able to do before I started testing a bunch of different devices. And finally, the last reason I would consider buying a Cirqa is if you love the idea of all of this, you love the idea of a fitness tracker, you don't need the screen, but most importantly, you don't want a subscription. When you look at all of the other competing products out there, specifically the Fitbit Air, the Whoop, and the Aura, all of them have some sort of subscription. So the Fitbit Air costs $100 less, but it has a $99 a year subscription. So after your first year, that's going to be more expensive. The Aura Ring starts out at around $350 and has a monthly subscription of around $6. So not only is the device significantly more expensive, you're also paying a subscription on top of that. Whoop, the one that is maybe most similar to this, you can get the device for free, but their basic subscription is $199 a year and it goes up from there. So again, after year one, you are paying more money. The thing I get the most complaints about on this channel around any golf tech device are subscriptions. So the fact that Garmin created a device at a good price that is extremely capable when compared to its mid to higher end golf watches, and they've done it all with no subscription, honestly, I think that's a really good combination, and I think the Cirqa is going to be a really good entry point for a lot of people into the Garmin world. So there you go, those are my thoughts on the Garmin Cirqa. There are plenty more, far more in-depth reviews on YouTube that really cover all the nitty-gritty of the performance, but the bottom line is this does exactly what I want it to do and then some. It allows me to track all of my data without a screen while I'm wearing a regular watch. That is it. For me personally, this is well worth $199 to get all of my tracking data during periods of time that I haven't previously been able to get that data. But even though my personal use case is a little niche and perhaps a little bougie, I have been very impressed with everything Garmin has packed into this and for the price that they have done it. $199 for everything you get that brings you into the Garmin ecosystem, I think is an excellent fit for a lot of people. So with that, my name is Sean Ogle. I'm the founder of this thing here at Breaking 80, where we talk about cool golf products and cool golf courses. If you got some value out of this, hit subscribe. We got new videos twice a week. And if you're interested about getting into the Garmin ecosystem, but you would prefer a watch rather than a wearable with no screen, go take a look at this video right here. I think you'll find it extremely helpful. With that, I hope you have an excellent day, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.